What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. You know what time it is, baby. We are back on our normal Wednesday nights, 9:30, and it's time for that cause, because that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. Got another fun show tonight. Got a lot of things to talk about. Want to talk a little NBA, the moves that are being made right now, coaches being hired. Landscape's going to look a lot different. What everybody think about that NBA draft last week? There were some surprises, but for the most part, everything kind of went their way. We're going to talk about that. Another thing, we're going to talk a little hockey. The Florida Panthers were the one champion that was able to go back to back. But they've made some moves this offseason that definitely got to give them some credit for what their general manager, Bill Zito, did. We talk about Sam Presti and what he's done with OKC. I don't think Bill Zito's that far behind him with Florida as being, if not the second best general manager in all of professional sports right now. We'll talk about what he did this past week when a lot of people thought that, 2 out of 3 might be a possibility, but no way does he get all 3 to come back. But he did, and we'll talk about that too as the Panthers try to go for a 3-peat. You can see I'm excited as hell. I will rep this, for at least a couple more weeks before I change the background as we transition to football. It is the dead period, guys. I mean, we just got a couple more days, and was entitled Fireworks, Family, and Football Ahead, because we got the fireworks, and hopefully you're spending it with your family this on Friday or the whole weekend. Monday, baby, it's all full speed ahead. High school resumes their workouts. Colleges are getting close to the media days that we look forward to and getting their camps going. The NFL holdouts are going to be doing their drama. Let's not forget that we're going to have those that actually are all in, starting to report for training camp and getting ready for those preseason games in the Hall of Fame and Canton game. All that's coming up, and it's just so exciting, and you can feel it. And we just got to get through this month, but we can make it. We can make it. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, more than anything, your participation drives this show. Not only do my panelists and the hosts come on to be a part of this and talk sports, we want to hear from you, and hopefully maybe you want to be a panelist and come on and share your thoughts. But remember, just join that chat box live. Point out when we've inaccurately said something in error, as well as voice your opinions. What do you want to talk about? What's going on in sports right now? Also, hit that like and subscribe button, baby. We generate that right now. And to our 84 followers, I thank you. I really do. And going to be now on TikTok. Got some advice to maybe get on TikTok, so I'm going to give it a shot. Never done it before, but let's see if that grows viewers and gets more people involved, and definitely appeals to more of an audience for sure. So got to give a love to a couple sponsors tonight. Most importantly, got to give my love to Kim Castle and King's Chamber over there on the Pike. Hit her up, 865-236-5550. Closed Monday and Tuesdays, but open Wednesday through Sunday. Don't know what her 4th of July hours are going to be, but definitely give her a call. Book an appointment. She will get you taken care of. Haircuts, beard trims, the works. Definitely gives you that royal treatment to make you feel like the king that you deserve. So definitely hit her up and go visit her over there at the Chamber. Also got to give some love to Razor Shop Barber Shop of Knoxville. Go see Josh Fink or Corey. They'll get you taken care of. Let them know, both these sponsors, that Rebels with a Cause sent you. I'm sure they'd appreciate hearing that. Also got to give some love to the Big Fact Sports Network. Follow them at 332 Studios. They doing some great things. Going to have some exciting more content, especially as we get closer to football season. So if you haven't liked or subscribed them yet, do so right now, and definitely give them a shout. They work hard and part of the brotherhood here with Rebels with a Cause. That being said, let me bring on my co-host and panelist for tonight. Two Pair will be on. He's going to be coming on in our 10 o'clock hour at some point. I know he's got a lot to talk about the topics we're going to discuss tonight. But first, got to give love to all of our guests and our panelists. First and foremost, you know him as our resident coach. I know that he's enjoying the dead period, but he's not enjoying it. He's ready to get this thing on the grind going Monday. I'm letting him talk about that. But, he's been our stats guy. He's been with us from the beginning, and definitely give him a shout and give him the love, whether you're watching this live or recorded. Let's bring him on, the one, the only, Mr. Shane O'Mac. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I am ready for the dead period to be over.
I see it, man. I see it. Uh,
I've had coaches meetings. I've been doing deep dives on just brushing myself up on some cover 2, cover 3 stuff. Uh, Getting more familiarized with the 4-3 again because it's been a while since I've coached on the defensive side. But I've been itching all last week, all this week. I'm ready for Monday to be in pads.
it's going to be amazing. I mean,
Well,
and
helmets will be in helmets Monday. Excuse me. Don't get us in trouble.
absolutely. And you can feel it. Like, I mean, I can hear the excitement in your voice. You know, the boys are itching to go no matter what level they're at right now, whether it's middle school or high school, they're getting ready. They're really itching at it and so forth. So, yeah, for sure.
Monday's that first day.
Yep.
I'm ready to see.
Absolutely. And truth be told, we're very close to a month away from those first scrimmages that we're going to get to see
Oh,
from certain high school teams and everything. So it's here and you can feel it, man,
and
honestly. So
I'm super excited that our first game of the season will be August 16th on a Saturday night.
nice. Nice.
Yep.
Well,
So instead of our normal Thursday nights for the middle school league, we're doing a Saturday night game. And like the
nice.
whole league is starting kicking off on a Saturday this year. So
Well,
Saturday night
then
under the lights.
Well, what that tells me is I've got something Saturday night I can possibly attend, get me ready for that week ahead as it's Bearden week, and hopefully, maybe just maybe we'll see what goes on with the with Weston following Saturday on the 23rd at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whenever it's going to be that night. So yeah, for sure. Got to bring on our other panelist. He's been a staple on the show for a couple of weeks now and so forth, and I'm so glad he could join us tonight. Always love his insight, and the guy is just awesome. I mean, we've talked about him at length, and I love what Two Pair always says. If you saw him at a sporting event that involved major high schools in this area, you knew it was a big deal. So I like to almost give him the nickname Big Game Carry, because you knew if it was a big game, he was going to be there, baby. But always was there to greet you or your kid with a smile in that carpool lane. Love him to death, and so glad he can be a part of the show because he knows his stuff. Give him a warm round of applause. The one, the only, Kerry Reeves, baby. How you doing?
How you doing, fellas?
Oh,
Good to
doing
see y'all tonight.
good to see you too, man.
Yes,
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part on the panel tonight. And we got some good topics tonight, I think.
Yes, we
And
do.
I mean, it's kind of weird because, as Shane mentioned, Carrie, it's the dead period,
Yep.
and I almost feel like maybe we do need this week only from this standpoint. You can wrap up all the stuff that's going on with the spring and winter sports, the deals
hmm
that are being made, coaches being hired or fired, the NBA draft. You got the summer league about to start to see what the rookies are going to do. If
SEC Media Day starts next
SEC
Monday.
media days, yeah, I mean, so you
The
got
official
you
start of the college football season.
exactly. So you're going to put a bow tie on the rest of what was going on, and now you can focus on the fall, which is the
Yep.
football more than anything. So
Shane, I understand the dead period, man. I know you hate it. It's driving you crazy, the dead period, man. But it'll be here. Monday will be here before you know it, man.
yeah,
Monday will be there before he knows it, man.
absolutely.
I'm just ready to be back out there. It's a
hmm
long 2 weeks, very long 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Well,
right
well,
when you
we're
get back,
we're
right when you get
almost
back in
there.
that grind, right when you
And
get back
just
in that grind, like, oh hey, stop.
Yeah. No, we're almost there. No,
And
we are
just think,
almost.
school for the kids is a month. And school for the kids is a month away too.
You,
A
you,
month
you know,
from a month from Monday.
you know what the
On Monday.
You know what the crazy thing is? I mean, I know that we've been long out of school and so forth, but I almost get this sense that like the summers go by faster now. I mean, like I feel like
They
just
do.
yesterday it was Memorial Day and they were all excited to get out. But I'm telling you, man, after 4th of July happens, it is just woof. Like I mean, it
Oh,
just
I just I just got the school list sent to me yesterday.
oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Oh my goodness. So
I remember like when we first started school, like we didn't go back till after Labor Day,
yeah.
and
Yep.
then it slowly creeped up, and now it's first week of August. They're back in school.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and you know the other thing, there was an argument there for a long time because some of the school systems around us, like Oak Ridge and Alcoa, they go year round, so they do get a summer break. But where they differ is they get 2 weeks for fall break, spring break,
Hmm.
and the winter
And
break,
winter
obviously
break.
that everybody else gets. But it gives parents more of a opportunity to take breaks because maybe some people can't go during the summer, you know. But I mean, also the other thing is if your kid is involved in a sport, you're kind of your hands are tied, you know, of what you
Yep.
can do and what you can't do and so forth more
Well,
than
see, I grew
anything.
up in New York, and we always went after Labor Day, no matter what. We
See, and in Florida,
always went
yeah,
after Labor
before I moved here,
Day.
Florida was Labor Day. It
Yep.
started that Tuesday after Labor Day. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But anyway, you know, it is what it is and so forth. It's here. What I wanted to get started with right away is the NBA draft. Obviously, was last week, and of course, I'm sure Brian's going to give his thoughts. Our guy two pair will give his thoughts on who had a great draft and who didn't. But I want to start off right away with the fact that we pretty much predicted who was going to go where. I think the big shock of the night, and I don't think it was that big of a shock because ESPN was all over it. But the fact that Ace Bailey had decided not to work out, somebody had advised him, and he went from potentially being a number 2 pick all the way down to the Utah Jazz. And it
At number
looked
five.
like maybe he wasn't even that happy with that pick. But at the same time, if you're the Utah Jazz and he is the best available, did you make the right pick? You know, not knowing that he didn't work out. You know, he felt that his game spoke for himself. But realistically, he was the only one that night that really was just not that. It seemed not that grateful. I mean, you saw Dylan Harper was very excited. Cooper Flagg's not very flashy. He just kind of just was very humble. You saw, I mean, I thought the story of the night was really two guys in particular. Liam McNeely was the last guy in the green room getting picked at 29. And I
Yep.
thought that I was hoping that the Heat might have gotten him at 20. I don't know why he slipped, but you could see how happy he was that not only he got selected, but his 3 teammates from Mount Verde got also selected, like we said, that which is just a sick amount of talent. But the other story was Common Maluak, you know, from Africa, has only been playing organized basketball for 4 years, transitioned from soccer to basketball. I don't even think really scratched the surface at Duke. And I think that, you know, the Suns, I think, got a great player out of this whole Kevin Durant deal because the Rockets selected him, but it's all part of the trade and the picks that were done with the Kevin Durant deal. So I'm going to stop talking. I want you guys just to let me know what stood out about the NBA draft. Did you see anybody that was an absolute winner, an absolute loser? You know, and chat, definitely bring it if you're watching. I see you out there, and hit that like and subscribe button. Shane, Carrie, I'll decide who wants to go first.
As a Tennessee fan, I was happy to see Lanier and Meshack get drafted.
Yep.
Meshack as Mr. Irrelevant with the 59th pick going to the Grizzlies. I love that dude's story. I think he'll make the roster down there. And then you got Sakai and Gainey both signing for summer league. So I'm happy to see four balls make it to the league this year.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Shane, about the Vols. That absolutely, yeah. When Meshack, and then Meshack gets to stay in the state, like, and
Hmm.
so, and like you said, he's got a great opportunity to make that roster with the
He's the only
Grizzlies.
person I accept coming from California to Tennessee and staying.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that. So,
The
um,
state is full. The state's getting full, man. I can't take it.
hey, it might be filled up even more. Speaking of New York, Kerry, not to get too political, but anyway, what were your thoughts on the NBA draft,
That's
brother?
all right. I thought everything went as expected. I'm like Shane, and I'm gonna expound on the Tennessee thing because Meshack couldn't have gone into a better situation in Memphis because they need a leader. They
Hmm.
need a defensive guy, and they need a leader. That's the one thing Jamal Meshack will bring is instant credibility.
Hmm.
He's a leader. He is a natural leader. Everybody in the state knows who he is. And the fact that he gets to play in Memphis, that speaks volumes. He's going to make that squad. He may be starting opening night
Hmm.
because he has a tenacity and a will to, and he wants to win. And whoever's, I forgot who's the coach at Memphis, is going to love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chaz Lanier couldn't have gone to a better situation too. With an up and coming Detroit team who needs bench scoring, he comes in. He's got that jump shot. He's got 3 point. He can take it to the hole. He's got a 3 point shot. Chaz Lanier ended in a great situation with Detroit. Up and coming, they made the playoffs this past year. Now they got a chance with an Eastern Conference, which is which is literally and figuratively up for grabs. They've got a chance to really ascend themselves, and he's got a big part to play off that bench.
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. I
I
agree
was
with that.
I was kind of surprised that there wasn't a Dalton Connect trade used in the draft.
Yeah, I think
With
Yeah.
the way they
that
with the
might
way
be
they were shopping him last year, I was really surprised.
Yeah. Well, you know, the really the only trade that really happened that night was very baffling in that second round where the Knicks and the Clippers traded spot 49 and 50. That kind of was funny. It was
Yeah,
just
that
like
was unusual.
because Spike Lee stood up clapping thinking they were going to get who they thought, and then like they say, "Hey Spike, wait, hold on a second. He's not the Knicks pick. He's basically going to the Clippers. The Clippers are picking who your guy is, and then it was some foreign guy from France that happened to be in. And then he was like, "Oh, okay, all right." I lost my cookies. I was like, "Are you disappointed there or what?" So yeah, but
I saw
it's
something. I
interesting.
can't remember. I saw something. I can't remember who it was. He literally thought it's could have been just a funny meme, but it's like this guy got drafted thought that the draft was like 2K, and you get to decide who your team is that's going to draft you.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's that. Yeah, I forgot who that was too. The other thing too, realistically, 9 out of the first 10 picks were all one and dones. Pretty
Yep.
much too. That was the story. The one that got picked before Maluwak at 10 was the foreign guy that everybody was raving about that went number 9, I believe, to the New Orleans Pelicans. So yeah, but yeah, it was really interesting how the draft went. And you know, the one thing is I'm excited to see these guys play in the summer league as soon as this weekend. You know, the games start on NBA TV or ESPN. You might even get to see some second year guys
Mm-hmm.
play. You know, like maybe a Dalton Connect or someone from last year's draft if they're not nursing injuries and so forth, and guys that maybe are getting invites to prove themselves, like a Zakai Ziegler or someone like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see who shows out, because this is your opportunity to at least maybe make a roster, go to the training camp, and you never know, you might go to their NBDL league and
Yep.
basically be called up if there's an injury. You never know. So
Now
That
he
will, that will
mentioned
still be known as the G League to me. I don't care what they call it now. It's
yeah, the
still the
G
G League.
League. Yeah, so it really is the G League.
Now you
So
mentioned Dalton Connect. Now I would keep his name out there because the Lakers are interested in Dame Lillard because Milwaukee
yeah.
is paying 3/4 of his salary. All the Lakers would have to do is pay basically the league minimum
Hmm.
to sign Damon Lillard. If
Yeah.
they sign Damon Lillard along with whoever they got, DeAndre Ayton,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
him. Dalton Connect is they're probably looking at him and say, we're going to try to shop him again and get some. And Austin Reeves. It would not surprise me if him and Austin Reeves were shopped at the same time for somebody else.
Yeah, Kerry, we can transition and we can go back and forth between the NBA draft and this, but this was the big news of
Because
the
it kind of
week so
ties in
far.
together.
It does tie together that the Bucks did cut Lillard for Miles Turner, so we're already seeing the domino effect that the Pacers are pretty much moving on from the without Tyrese Halliburton and so forth. And apparently, this was a big deal that Turner kind of left everybody, high and dry. I don't know what was really
For their
expected.
rival, for one
Yeah,
of their rivals.
for one of their rivals, And
Yeah,
is this enough to keep the Greek freak at this point? Giannis, is this
I think
enough
so.
at this
At
point?
this
So,
point, this
yeah.
is enough.
Because now he's got somebody else that's a rim protector that can contribute on the offensive side. But man, what an end of an era, because Turner had been with the Pacers since he started his career, and
Mhm.
now moving on. As you mentioned, DeAndre Ayton, a former number one pick, is now going to the Lakers. And I mean, is that going to be what pushes the Lakers over the top if they are happening to maybe get a Lillard? LeBron obviously signed a pretty big contract, which I don't know where that leaves them with getting other pieces to fill in around him and Luca coming up this year. So
I was surprised he opted into his contract.
I was too.
Part of me was, but I'm also thinking too, this probably is his last year in LA, one way or the other. New
Yeah.
ownership who is not loyal to him, whatsoever. They're
Hmm.
probably looking at this now as we're looking at possibly next year when we have more money freed up, we can get Lucas some more people because Lucas the future. Clearly, he is the future of the Lakers.
Yeah.
LeBron can go forever. He's what 41, going to be 42 in December. So yeah,
He'll
I
be
think
41.
41. I think this is the start of the transitioning. LeBron will go back to the East, probably back to Cleveland to play 1 year, and that'll be it. I think he'll retire a Cavalier.
You took the words out of my mouth, Gary.
I
Yeah.
posted that 4 years ago when he signed with LA. I posted that he will finish his career in Cleveland.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what's kind of crazy is Cleveland has a pretty good young nucleus. They
Mm-hmm.
they had a pretty good draft themselves, and basically I know that maybe the moment was too big for them after getting as
Yeah.
as high of a seed as they did, but I think they've got some pieces, and lo and behold, you could see him piggyback in there at the end. Just maybe catch lightning in a bottle, because like you said, Kerry, the East is open this year,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what you're going to get with a Halliburton or a Tatum or any of these guys that got really injured, and so forth like that.
Also, I was watching literally the day after our last podcast. I saw a thing where they were talking about what's causing all these injuries,
Mhm.
especially the Achilles. It's all these kids playing AAU ball their whole life.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're,
I
they're,
found
they're,
that interesting.
they're getting more wear and tear on their body a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing way too many games, and your body's burned out.
Yeah.
You,
Yep.
you've used it up, and that's what's
Yep.
causing all these major injuries.
Yeah, because realistically, there was always kind of travel ball, but not the amount of games or tournaments that there were. And
Yeah.
summer is for a rest. I mean, it really it seems like you need the rest. I mean, here's the thing with football players. Realistically, you have the 7-on-7, but you're not really hitting so much. And realistically, for a coach to notice you, it really is about the camps and where you
Mm-hmm.
go and show out at these certain things, and that's where you see maybe some people get rated higher than what they are, and then they don't show out when they get to an actual team and so forth, or live up to the hype, so to speak. But Shane, that's a great point. I didn't even really think about that in regards to the fact that there is a lot more basketball being played, and there's a lot more wear and tear in the body and so forth.
And the other thing, like, and I've preached this a bunch, is you have too many parents who are putting their kids in one sport and making them their body sport
Yep.
specific. The luxury of playing multiple sports is your body builds up tolerances and gets conditioned to play multiple sports. Your body, your muscles, your joints, your ligaments can move at different angles without worrying about injury. If you constantly do the same thing over and over and over, you create wear and tear. You don't build
Eventually,
any
it
of the
has to happen.
stabilizing muscles around your body.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why my son plays 3 different sports.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: what do you all think about the Mike Brown hire to the Knicks? I mean, it seemed like the Knicks tried to reach out to five coaches, were declined by the NBA, by those teams that these coaches already coached for. So they settle on Mike Brown to the Knicks, who was fired by the Sacramento
I
Kings
think
after
they
getting
lucked
them
into
to the
this
draft.
hire.
So you think they did good?
I think they lucked in. I think they did good. I think they lucked into this.
Yeah,
I think they lucked into this hire big time, especially when they had no plan.
they
And
really
you get a
didn't.
coach like Mike Brown who's been to the finals as a head coach and an assistant with Golden State out there with Steve Kerr. Actually coached them in the playoffs one year
Hmm.
when Steve Kerr had heart issues and they won a championship.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the Knicks lucked into this.
Yep. I
Her
do
was
too.
almost was the Knicks coach a
Yep, he
while
was
back.
almost a Knicks coach a while ago. Yeah,
Yeah, he should have been. I mean, it would be interesting where they'd be at now if that had happened
they
a long
hired
time
Tibbs
ago.
instead of him. I believe that's when it was 5 years ago. They hired
Hmm.
Yep.
him and Tibbs were finalists, and they hired Tibbs.
Yep. Yep. And
It
now
was so
they've
fun.
gotten an opportunity. They've gotten an
And I
opportunity.
also think Atlanta, down the road from us, had a really good draft at free agency in getting Porzingis. If they can get 60 to 65 games out of Kristaps Porzingis, that's a great deal for Atlanta.
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
fantastic deal.
It's interesting you brought that up, Kerry, about Porzingis because he's been in the league now 10 years, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken,
It
and
feels like longer.
it does
Yeah, it
feel like
feels
longer.
longer. It
You're right
does.
about that. And I just find it funny that guys that were in the draft 10 years ago are kind of making the waves in this off season.
Hmm.
Here was one that I was kind of intrigued with. Won a national championship at Duke, has been a steady point guard. Tyus Jones signed a deal with the Orlando Magic. So the Magic are trying to really, I think, position themselves with better guard play. They know what they've got with Banchero in their front court, but it looks like they're really solidifying their back court to maybe try to make a run at this with the East because the East is down, and so forth. So I'm
And
kind of
he's a
intrigued with
veteran
the
presence.
Magic's moves they're making right now
And
and
then
so
he's a
forth.
veteran presence with those young guys.
Hmm.
Fits in perfectly. Fits in perfectly.
And he's a pass first point guard. He manages the game. Like
Yeah.
his assist to turnover ratio has always been good no matter where he's
Hmm.
played, which is unbelievable. So
Yep.
at this point, and they didn't even pay that much for him from what I understand. So, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, like I was just kind of curious your all's thoughts on that. I looked at some of ESPN's grades about the NBA draft to kind of go back to that and so forth. I found it funny that they gave the Miami Heat a D for picking the player out of Illinois. I don't know what that was about and so forth, but again, I thought that they were going to take Liam McNeely, but they went with a guard and so forth. So it was just kind of interesting um, of. Um, of how that all went down and so forth. But for the most part, ESPN was very, very generous to a lot of the teams. I mean, they definitely gave San Antonio a very good score with their picks of both Carter Bryant out of Arizona, the one and done freshman out of Arizona at forward, and then obviously Dylan Harper, with the number two pick. So they gave the Spurs a pretty good grade. But yeah, they were not that all in on Kasparis Jacksionis, who was the guard from Illinois that the Heat selected. I was a little shocked between us that Walter Clayton Jr. didn't get selected sooner. I know he was a Gator, but at the same time, when you can play, you can play. So, and he was absolutely phenomenal, and they don't win that national title without
I
him.
thought Utah's draft
So
was really good.
I
I
thought
thought
Utah's
Utah,
draft was good too.
even with
Yeah,
Ace Bailey, I thought getting Clayton a top 10 talent at 18, that's a steal.
it is. It
They
is.
got
I
great
mean,
value at 18. That's fantastic.
yes.
Clayton's going to bring it. You know what he's going to bring every single night.
Oh yeah, yeah,
NCAA
absolutely.
tournament, that's one of the finest runs in the NCAA tournament I've ever seen since Danny Manning. When
You're right
one
about
guy,
that.
when Walter Clay, every time it was a big shot that needed to be made, he made it. No matter how many people were on it, two people, three people, he would rise up, hit every shot, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
toughest. I'm actually glad to see him go. Tennessee doesn't have to face him no, no
Yeah.
more.
Well, and also it looked
No
like
more.
from what I could see, his one of his running mates also got selected in the second round, and that was. I'm looking it up right now. I couldn't think of his name, but he was also a pain in the ass when it came for Tennessee playing him. And that was, hold on, Elijah Martin or what have you. So he went,
Yeah, he was a
yeah,
major pain in the butt.
yeah, he went to. He was selected by Portland, but apparently that was a pick that went to Sacramento. So he's going to be a king.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, yeah. But he was another guy that was out there that they gave us problems. Yeah, Amari Williams from got selected by the Magic as well. But the thing is he got traded to Boston, so he's actually going to the Celtics. As looking at SEC guys, Asa Newell went to, from what I'm seeing here, went to the Hawks. So that was pretty cool. So basically from Georgia to Atlanta at this
Yep.
point. So the Hawks did have a
Right.
great draft, like you said. So yeah. What'd you think about the Brooklyn Nets selecting 3 point guards?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, I didn't think they'd use all 5 first round with all 3 picks, to be honest with you, but they did. That's very interesting.
Yep, yep. And 2 of those guys are foreign players that I don't know if they're going to stash them away overseas or if they are going to bring them into the fold. I mean, I just felt that of who they selected, flat out, in my opinion, the one that I thought was probably the best pick of the 3 that they made was obviously let me see here. That I guess that was which one was that one that they picked? I thought that Traore they got Traore, they
Mhm.
got who was it that they got? They got Drake Powell, but he's more of a guard, more of a wing from North Carolina. I thought that was a good pick by them. But realistically, I thought that I don't know. It was the second round pick. I guess that's who they picked. Hold on one second. Let me see here real quick. Cause
All right.
yeah. Oh, it was Adu Thiero from Arkansas and so forth. That's who they had picked or what have you. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
I yeah.
Yeah.
So a big guy, 6'6", running the point. So
Well,
I
he's
just
gonna be.
liked
Well,
him
he's
better
gonna be
than
a
the
Laker.
Traore.
He's gonna be a
Yeah.
Laker.
Oh, is he going to be a Laker? Okay,
Yeah, that was
so
part of that
he went to
3-way
the Lakers.
deal that they made.
Okay, so that solves that one then. So, oh, you know what? It was Demon out of BYU. That was their pick, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was. So
Oh,
yeah,
he can shoot. He's a
he can
shooter.
shoot. Yeah, Igor. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, a 6'8" guy that can shoot. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a hell of a presence right there. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was an interesting night, and again, you can always grade the draft picks, but until they actually make it on the court,
Yep.
that's where you know what you got, what you don't got, and so forth. And we've seen a lot of people, not just make it, unfortunately, and some that are still kind of journeymen finding their way in the league, but they're collecting a check, and that ain't no small check you're collecting in that
No, it's
league.
not.
No, it's not. So,
It's a life changing moment.
yeah, absolutely. I do want to bring up a little hockey tonight for anybody that's watching. Obviously, the Panthers went back to back, and a lot of people were wondering if they were going to be able to keep their core intact for a possible three-peat. And they had some guys already all in that were going to go at least until 2030. But the interesting thing, though, that I just got to bring, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but at the same time, I got to give credit where credit's due because you see so many of these guys in any sport, baseball,
Mhm.
football, basketball, hockey. I understand to get paid. get your money now. You don't know what your shelf life's going to be. I get it. But at the same time, though, sometimes a championship and who you play with means a lot as well
Yep.
to some guys. And I know hockey maybe doesn't rank as high in the professional sports of what they pay out, but I'm just going to say this. The fact that this Bill Zito has basically kept Bennett for 8 years to finish out pretty much his career, 8 million a year, when he was actually having some offers about 11 million a year. So he turned down 3 million potential. You had Marchand, who I know is at the tail end of his career. He could have gotten some money there at the end with somebody. He took 6 million for these last 3 years. And then Ekblad, who was their number one pick in 2014, who has been injury prone, somehow got convinced to take a 6-year, $6 million deal. And they are below the cap or what have you to keep this main core together through at least 2028, 2030, depending on who signed for what. So, and that's not even counting that they still have Reinhardt, Kachuk, Sasha, all these other guys on their roster. So the thing is I just got to give props to a general manager that somehow convinced guys to take less, has built a culture, and that's why the Panthers are probably a very big favorite now, more so than ever, to go for a three-peat. I mean, it's hard to even win one, let alone three, but I don't think any team since the New York Islanders did it in the early 80s has a team been to 4 straight Stanley Cups. Never mind that they lost to Vegas a couple years ago, but that just shows they like playing with each other. Even Sam Bennett said, when all 40 of us go out to eat, we all go to the same restaurant, and it's literally 5 guys at 8 tables. And, so it's kind of interesting to say the least. So, but what are your thoughts? I mean, not necessarily so much on the hockey, but, some of these teams that do you sign a mercenary and hope to God that they play, they live up to the hype, or, are they just happy to collect a check and just kind of wing it in and it messes up your culture of possibly of what you have? What's your all's thoughts on that?
I feel like the way most of the leagues are now, it's guys are just looking to collect a check.
Yep.
That's what it is. That's what professional sports are today. It's why I have an issue watching it, because you don't see teams building chemistry and camaraderie and doing it the right way. You see guys going out there to get their payday.
It's true.
You talk about the general manager, Bill Zito, and that's a fantastic job. Sam Presti in the NBA, fantastic job there. And a guy in the NFL, Howie Roseman up in Philadelphia. Since he's taken over,
yes,
he's won 2 Super Bowls in 8 years, and he has kept a lot of that core together, especially that Eagles offensive line. Jason Kelsey retired, last year? The rest of the core is still there and signed for another couple years. They've kept the culture there. They've traded for A.J. Brown, who has fit into that culture. Drafted Devontae. They've drafted some immense. He loves the SEC because he's drafted a lot of SEC caliber players that were first.
Got Saquon down there.
For literally
he fit in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's another culture builder.
Yeah, and that must have stuck it right to the Giants. The fact that you had Saquon and he goes to your rival and literally is the difference of them making the Super Bowl and winning the whole damn thing. He was just what they needed of what they were missing 2 years before. So,
and took less money to leave. Mm-hmm. Now he got rewarded with a new contract. He's the third highest paid running back in football.
Yeah.
But he left the Giants and took less money to win a Super Bowl. And stuck it to him.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I like that transitions. Let's talk about it. Football is almost here.
Yes.
Happy 4th of July on Friday or whatever. Get those sparklers, all that stuff out. Be careful, but eat some good barbecue and grilling and all that stuff. But guys, we are there almost with football. You're starting to see trades happen. I don't know what the hell the Miami Dolphins are doing at this point. I think that they are just they're just doing a fire sale. I just don't even know what that organization is doing. They have a loyal fan base that has been dying for anything for years, and it's like, you've probably got the hottest team in any professional sport with the Panthers, and down the street is the shitty Miami Dolphins, and I don't know what they're doing over there. They've got probably one of the worst general managers I've ever seen in football. Honestly,
The fact that Tua can't keep himself healthy because he's so reckless on the field doesn't help
Mhm.
one bit.
Yep. Yep.
And as
Yep.
a member of Bills Mafia, I'm happy to see that the Dolphins are suffering quite a bit. This is heading to if they start off badly, this is a house cleaning because it's going to be the coach, the GM, and almost people. They're still trying to. They made this trade with Pittsburgh, and really, I don't see either team getting better.
No,
No.
I have never seen a trade where you would think somebody would get better, and neither team really. All they did is traded a corner for a safety. There's not no disrespect, Shane, in that end, but there's not really much difference between a corner and a safety.
Well, and what's worse is that Minka was there originally, and now he's back. What the hell are we talking about here? Honestly, I mean, it was horrible. So yeah, I'll tell you this. What's his name? Mike McDaniel. He's an idiot. Okay, number one. I think that he got way too much credit. That's another guy that was meant to be a coordinator, but never the head guy. Everybody's figured his shit out. And then he gets a haircut and tries to be GQ like he's Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems or whatever down there. And he looks like a dumbass on the sidelines. I mean, he's just a complete moron. And you're right, Kerry, there's probably going to be a house cleaning. But here's the other thing, too. There's such a stupid team that they don't even have any draft picks or anything like that to even build it back up. So they're a double loser. You got to pick one or the other. Do you want to build it from scratch with draft picks, or do you make good free agent deals? They make neither in this.
Exactly. They have made neither, and it's just gotten from bad to worse. And even as a fan, I'm sitting there going, "What in the world are they doing down there?"
Brian Flores pages on the Titans playbook.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Flores was a terrific head coach. He got into his face. He got fired for it. Mm-hmm. This is kind of karma coming right back to him.
Yeah. And he landed on his feet, luckily.
He landed on his feet very well.
That's what I'm
saying.
I
think he'll be a head coach again soon. I can see him being a head coach again soon.
I'm going to tell you this, Kerry, and I'm not trying to troll when I say this, but the Bills right now do need to take advantage of the division that they're in. You've got a terrible Dolphins. You've got the Jets have been trash for years, and the Patriots are not the Patriots of old. You know what I mean? Obviously,
well, they've won it 5 years in a row, and they're favored to win it for a sixth. And I don't see any problem. Their biggest worry is Kansas City.
Yeah,
they want to get Kansas City.
They got to get that over that hump.
They got to get over. That's the only hump left because they've gotten over every other hump. They've beaten Burrow. They've beaten Lamar. They've beaten everybody else in the AFC except for Patrick Mahomes when it matters the most in the playoffs. Once they get past that hurdle, we'll win a world championship. Because I don't think
probably still feels like the league fixes it for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they've become the new Patriots. We've watched the hero become the enemy with, so to speak, when it comes to what the Chiefs have become.
Oh yeah. Well, Shane, let me ask you this: where do you think the Ravens fit in this? By the way, I mean, because they've got Derrick Henry, and they've got Lamar. I really thought I really messed up last year because they were my pick and favorite to win, and they didn't do it. And it's like you only have so many years of this that you get that chance.
Derrick Henry was already on the downside of his career after he left the Titans. He saw the writing on the wall the way the Titans were making their picks and the GM was running everything over there. So he got out when he could. But it kind of feels like everybody that goes to the Ravens, it's you can contribute, but you aren't your former self.
Yep.
You look good on paper because you're bringing former studs in, but Lamar leads the team more in rushing than he does passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, it's very true.
I saw a stat the other day that Christian McCaffrey and Lamar Jackson are almost equal in their rushing stats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and that's a name. I'm glad you brought him up. By the way, what's he going to be like this year? He pretty much missed all of last year with the injury, and I'm kind of curious of what he shows because he's kind of been in the league for a few years now, and now you kind of the running backs they start to have a little bit of wear and tear, and while some teams do the committee. He's been one of the guys like a Saquon and him that carry the majority of the load, and so
Yeah, he
forth.
was the offense in Carolina. Then he gets out to the Niners, and he hasn't really been able to contribute because he's already got the wear and tear on him.
Hmm.
He shows flashes of what he was.
Yeah,
but
now
it's
he
not
doesn't have the backup that he had.
Nope.
Yeah. I'll
Of course,
say
I'm
this
a
much.
Niners fan though, so
I'll,
all I call
I'll,
him
s-
Juwan Jones.
I'll say this about the Dolphins real quick. The running back from UT has a great opportunity this year. Has a
Yep.
Yes, he
great
does. Jalen Wright.
opportunity. Yeah,
Jalen
he
Wright has
does.
a great
He
opportunity.
has, because I liked him at Tennessee a lot. I liked the draft pick. I was surprised they didn't use him more, especially on a third down situation, because he's a truck. I mean, he can
Yeah.
really,
Oh yeah.
and I really think that the only positive thing that the Dolphins probably have going for them is is the thunder and lightning that they could potentially have with Wright and the kid out of Texas A&M that has actually been pretty good for them the last couple of years.
Yeah, but
So I mean,
the number one question there is can Tua stay healthy? He's only played one full year. And what
don't
makes this worse, Zach Wilson is his backup.
yeah.
We saw what he was with the Jets.
Oh
Is
yeah.
there any reason to believe that he's going to improve?
Keep him away from the moms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep him away from the MILFs. Yep, that's for sure.
Hey, you know what? Don't be surprised if everybody's favorite mullet out of Texas, who got drafted in the
Ewers.
7th round,
Yep.
he might be the guy. Quentin might have landed in a pretty decent spot
Yep.
or whatever. So I
Wasn't
mean,
happy on draft night, but after he thought about it, he's like, this may not be so bad after all. Tua gets hurt. Zach Wilson.
Two was one hit away from never playing football again.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Tua was
Oh,
one
yeah.
hit away from possibly dying. I don't want to see him die.
I don't want to see. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I wish that on any
Wilson
player. So,
Should even be in the league.
oh,
Yeah.
horrible. Well,
This-
I'll tell you this: Quentin Ewers gets down to South Beach. I know he's probably already down there. I mean, it's a long way away from Texas, brother. When you're down on South Beach or whatever. So I mean, shoot.
Culture shock.
Culture shock indeed. So yeah. What do you think about the Washington Commanders? They were kind of like that surprise team, and they've got a very exciting quarterback, obviously,
Yep.
who really played out of his mind. But I think we're going to see. Was it a 1 year? Was it a 1 year wonder, or is everybody going to figure their shit out? But I'm going to tell you this: from a team that was just absolutely atrocious under Ron Rivera. To what they did last year, I mean, you got to be excited if you're a Washington fan.
I think they challenge Philadelphia again. It would not surprise me a bit. He's got a good OC with Kingsbury.
Mm-hmm.
Defense got better. He got an offensive line now. He's got a stud left tackle in Tunsil from Houston. So, yeah, I think Jaden Daniels, and he got Devo Samuel, who's going to be in a reduced role. They've said in minicamp he looked fantastic in his reduced role, which tells me they've got some tricks up this. They've got to sign Terry McLaurin. They've somehow got to get him back in the fold because that's Jaden Daniels' number one guy. He's got to have his number one guy for them to really do anything. He's got to be there. James, we lost you.
Uh-oh.
Froze up, man.
The whole screen went black.
Where are you at, Shane? Are you in your car?
I'm in my car. My son's at his mom's house.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
having internet issues, so I'm sitting at the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got the AC on because I know it's still pretty hot outside.
Yeah. Well, my AC's busted in the Jeep. I gotta get that fixed this week, so I got the windows down.
Oh man, that is not good with the AC bus. Not with 90-degree weather, man. Are you kidding?
I work in it every day, so it's not too bad right now.
What are you looking forward to being back with the fall camp? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to not this week, but next week when we're in full pads. Like that's when we start seeing who's capable of what. Like, you can look good in shorts all day.
I remember when my brother played high school football. He said we're not in real camp until we're in pads. He always looked forward to being in pads especially that first time in pads.
Yep.
He's like, that's just a game. It's a game changer. And he's like you. We'll see who can do what when
Yep.
the pressure's on and the pads are on.
What's got me stressed out though is we got a new head coach this year.
Where are you at?
I'm at Carnes Middle.
Okay. Hunter Fenley is the AD, I believe.
I'm not sure who the AD is. Only because I don't have to deal with them. Being a position coach makes it easier.
Yep, that is true.
But we got.
I apologize, guys. I had some technical difficulties, so yeah, but I'm back on, so yeah, should be good.
We got new head.
We noticed a little.
We got a new head coach. We've had a couple meetings, but you can tell he's not checked in yet. He's going on vacation next week when we start practice. He's like, "Oh, I'm just going to deal with the running backs," and I'm like sitting here like, "Okay, like what defense we running, what offense we running, what plays we doing." His OC that he brought in hasn't even drawn up a playbook, so we're going off last year's plays now.
Oh God!
So luckily the kids know the plays, except for the sixth graders. So my seventh and eighth graders is the same playbook they've ran, so
it's a little bit easier. A lot of familiarity. That's good.
Yeah, but not to have anything going into the dead period, I'm sitting there like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Like why haven't we done install? Why don't we have a breakdown of what practices are going to look like? Like I'm very detail oriented when it comes to football, and it's not what we need right now.
I know you're excited about getting back into it, man. I am. I'm excited just to get back watching. I've been watching CFL football to get myself in the mindset. CFL's got some pretty good football up in Canada. They got some pretty good teams up there, but it's getting me in the flow of football. It's getting me set. It's getting me revved up. Media days next Monday, and SEC Media Days is going to be a whole lot of fun because there's going to be a whole lot of stars, players-wise. Arch Manning is supposed to be at SEC Media Days along with a lot of other first-team quarterbacks.
Nice.
And they talked about Joey Aguilar being the worst-rated quarterback in the SEC and hasn't played it down yet. Tennessee, this is setting up for us to surprise a whole lot of people. I'm telling you.
Sometimes being underrated is best.
Exactly.
It's reminding me after Peyton left. It's like, it's T. Martin coming in, and he hasn't even played it down yet. And you've got, what's even players that year opened up with Syracuse. And they're opening up with Syracuse this year.
That is a great. That's great take. That's a great take right there. So why not?
We'll beat Syracuse. I don't see us. That's my mom's alma mater, so I will be partly torn a little bit, but not much torn. But Syracuse, we should beat them. They're replacing 20 starters, especially 10 of them on each in offense and defense.
And they're breaking in a new quarterback.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is they haven't dealt with the physicality of the SEC either.
Exactly.
So it's not like that cupboard's completely bare. I think that Hey, I'll tell you one thing. Got to give a shout out to Ryan Scott. Dude, he is huge. I saw a picture of him, and I was like, don't be surprised if he don't get on the field this year, honestly. That could be like another Nick Revez type thing where, he finds the field because he's a smart player, and he just needs an opportunity, and I'm happy as hell for him, honestly.
James, I've known that kid since he was 11 years old.
Yeah.
I know what he can bring. I know he is tremendous and one of the best athletes I've ever seen on the high school level, and I've seen a lot of great athletes.
Well, and we know that he was such a vital piece of that 2023 back-to-back team for West.
Yes, he was.
I mean, not to mention, he had some other guys that group of seniors he was a part of. They may not have had the name recognition of the 22 bunch, but damn, could they loved the challenge. Him and Marshawn Bowers, those guys, love them to death. Honestly,
I look at the championship ring I still have, and I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of great kids. Terrific football players. My God.
Yeah.
I think I mean, that was one of the great 2-year runs that I've ever seen out of any high school. And I've seen a lot. And you know me, James, I've seen a lot of high school football.
Oh, my God, yes.
I've seen Fulton in their days when Fulton was winning state titles. West is winning state titles. When Powell was getting to finals, I'm telling you that group from West, those 2 years, my God.
Well, and you saw some solid guys like Devin Young and everything play at Bearden too
Oh
during
yeah,
those late 2000
I
teams and
saw
so
like
forth. I mean, yeah,
Nick Rivez
Nick
playing at
Rivez.
Farragut. I saw a
Yeah,
lot of solid guys. Maryville,
yeah,
Maryville's like
yeah.
legends all the way through in football and basketball. And what I've seen is
Mm.
just absolutely was amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean to basically go 29-1 in 2 years or whatever
Mhm.
like that is just it's incredible, you know.
And that one
And
loss could have been a win. It could easily have been a win.
I would have loved to have seen if Marshawn had been healthy. That's all I'm
Yep,
going to say. They could have maybe gone,
exactly.
but I think that loss is what basically just catapulted them to continue on. And
Fueled
and
it.
and like I
Fueled
said, I mean,
everything.
this group last year, you know, they had a couple of rough patches and so forth, but they were easily right there as well. And you know,
And that
the
was still a
fact that
touchdown. That's still a
yeah, I
touchdown in
mean,
that
you know,
game.
it's still yeah, and I'm going to be very interested to see where they go this season more than anything because there's a lot to be said about a team that has a cause and has a chip on their
Yep.
shoulder. And I hope that they take the advice that this show gave and really just leave it out there because they've got a great opportunity.
Give
Um,
everything they
I,
got.
I do, yeah, and I believe that until it's proven otherwise, 5A still runs through Sutherland Avenue.
I
I
agree.
don't really, I mean, no disrespect to. There's been several coaches that have been there, and basically, you know, there's been two different staffs that won state championships with entirely different kids, and
Yep.
there were other teams with one of those staffs that could have easily been on that mantra as well had they just not had some bad luck or things happen, you know, and so forth. So the truth of the matter is if the heart's there and the kids buy in, the program will always be successful. That's
Exactly.
that's what
They'll
I
be
truly
fine.
believe. So yeah, for sure. So
But I'm really excited about what's going out there. I'm just excited to get it going. Just the thrill of getting it going. Get high school
oh,
going. Get
absolutely.
college going.
Yeah. You know, Carrie, can I ask you something like going back and Shane, you can even chime in on this as well. How special is it, you know, when you show up to the game and you can smell the concession stands, you know, with the
Oh man.
popcorn and the hot dogs, and then, you know, everybody's kind of like, oh, how was your week of work and all that, the mingling, and then you
Mhm.
see the kids warming up and then you hear the band marching in. I mean, I get chills thinking about
I
it.
do
Like,
too.
honestly, it's just such a special thing, honestly,
Between getting,
especially the high school level.
I've worked at every high school stadium, and I'm going to tell you what the chills that it gives is it's unbelievable. What I find unbelievable more is practice. I caught
Mhm.
myself when I was, especially when I was an officer at Bearden for the length of time I was, which was almost 8 years. I would catch myself leaving at about 4:15. I would I would just go to practice just to hear the sounds of the pads hit, just to
Absolutely.
hear the sound
I
of the pads.
always, my days at Bearded, I always loved the intensity of their
Yep,
practices.
I love the intensity.
Yeah.
It
Let me
didn't
ask you
matter.
guys this.
It
What's your
didn't matter if it
favorite
was.
stadium? What's your favorite stadium to catch a game? Yeah, in high
Oh
school
wow,
in this area. In this area.
boy,
I,
that's
I I would honestly say for me, it's Bearden because for the view I had from the press box, looking out towards downtown and especially as the sun goes down, or even when I was doing jamborees and stuff with the youth, and you get out there early enough and catch the sunrise coming over downtown into West Knoxville, probably one of the best sights I've ever seen.
yep.
But I would say just for a scenic view, give me Heritage.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Heritage does have a very pretty view of the foothills and everything in the
yeah.
mountains. Yes, yeah,
But
yeah.
I want to say when it comes to crowds and the amount of people you can pack into a game, it's always that West Bearden game or the Bearden Farragut game.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
It is
yeah.
just it's wall to wall, packed, high intensity football. You've got alumni, you've got parents, you've got everyone there because those are the big games for West Knoxville.
Yep.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
did a
We're
game,
all, we're all within what 12 miles of each other, if that.
if
Yep.
that much. I
If
did a
that.
Oh,
game.
actually, less than 10, probably less than 10.
I did a game 2003, Bearden against Farragut at Bearden. We had 9,500 people. It
I
was
believe it.
wall to wall. The environment was awesome. It was unbelievable. And the game went into overtime, which was even better. It was a 27-20. Farragut won the game 27-20. It was a fantastic football game. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Everybody was into the game. I mean, everybody from the stands, people standing on the field, everybody. I mean, it was one of the most fun nights I've ever had.
My favorite game ever would have been my junior year. We beat Bearden at Bearden. Bearden still had the fence around the track.
Yep.
I was a senior.
And
Yep.
I remember the students jumping over the fence storming the field. So that would have been 2002, or excuse me, 2001.
2001. Yep.
Yeah, because it had been 10 years that West had beaten them on the field. I don't count the Bill Butler forfeit from 2 years before. I'm talking to beat them on the field. It had been 91 was the last time West did it. So, yeah. So
that was my first year as an officer, 98, and I heard about that. I heard about the forfeit.
The Bill
like,
Butler. The Bill Butler played two plays on special teams, and they had to forfeit to West and so forth.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't count that game. But my favorite place in the city, I love Bearden, of course. West, two great places to watch a game.
Yeah.
I went out of the county quite a bit, and I loved going to Gibbs. For some reason, being out there in Gibbs, being away from the city and everything, the sunsets were just unbelievably beautiful on a Friday
Their
night.
new stadium is solid. We had a great time last year when we were there. So
their new stadium is really cool.
The only thing I hated about Gibbs coaching there, at least in the middle school league, was you had to go behind the stands, down a little trail to their little practice field. It was just rough getting down there.
It was rough getting down there. Yeah, I remember that.
And then, we had no clue how much time was left on the clock between games.
Yeah, it's the ultimate blind spot.
Yeah. So we'd have one coach up at the track, one about halfway down that little trail, and another one standing right there at the practice field. We're relaying messages down, hey, we got 3 minutes, get on the field.
I'm waiting for one day for every stadium here, like in Texas. You get round stadiums and everything. I'm waiting for that here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
When that happens, I will camp myself in one spot and I'll never leave.
The most impressive stadium, Dobbin's been.
Yeah.
No, that is for sure.
I went with Bearden in 2005 up there. That was awesome.
I got two stadiums that stand out to me. One has maybe lost its luster a little bit over the time and so forth, but there was a time where people would piss down their leg before they even got there, and that's Blankenship Field over in Oak Ridge. Honestly, there's just something the historical about it. You see the Big Ed's Pizza when they come down the stairs with the railroad crossing and the kids with their hands out. I mean, it's the spectacle of the entrance. That's what Oak Ridge is all about. I have to agree. I think
right back.
Yeah, no problem. Kerry, I think that Farragut's Farragut Stadium is awesome, especially when they're hosting West or Bearden. Yep. I mean, it's almost like because you've got the other two stadiums around it as well, so they got those lights on, and it's like they've got lights galore, and the parking lot. I mean, people are parking on the grass for goodness sakes, I
parked on the grass quite a bit.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, Farragut Stadium is awesome, especially when they redid the stands and have the team come out through the home team comes out through the middle. I thought that was the first time I saw that. I'm like, this is what it should be. I wish every stadium could find a way, bring the teams out through the student body.
Absolutely.
What a feeling that is.
It is. It's almost like Powell. Powell runs through there. Powell runs through the tunnel, and then they run through the P or whatever.
Yep.
So the other thing too is you look at Farragut, or rather, let me see here, and then Farragut, known for that huge band. I mean, 200 to 300 members playing anchors away. I mean, it's an intimidating presence. It really is. For sure.
It's an awesome sight. It is an awesome sight to be out there to see that too.
Absolutely.
I've been everywhere, and it's nothing like high school football.
Oh,
I
there
learned
isn't.
that even when I grew up in New York. We played on Saturday afternoon. There were some games that were played on Friday, but for the most part, we played on Saturday afternoon,
Yep.
and it was a fun environment. And Saturday night, we played a lot on Saturday night, and it was a lot. It's something special about Saturday night football, especially
Mm-hmm.
high school football. To me, Friday night and Saturday night can't beat it. And now
You
Thursday
can't.
night with Packer and them and the job they're doing, Thursday night is fun too.
Mm-hmm. It
Getting to
is.
play on
It is.
Thursday night, knowing that you're the only game in town playing in the
Well,
state.
we got middle school football now. We got
Woo!
middle school Thursday.
See, you got middle school
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. That's
See,
true. So yeah.
nothing like it.
Yeah. Well, and I also got to give a shout out to Maryville, the Black Hole. I mean, it's really the only stadium without a
Yeah,
track around it in the area and so forth. And you're right on top. They're right on top of you, it seems like, and so forth there on the field and the turf and
and
the
nice people
mystique.
up there too. Very
Uh,
knowledgeable football fans.
oh,
Very
yeah.
nice people.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad experience at Louisville.
I still don't understand how their dead end didn't make it and ours did on Sutherland Avenue, but I'm not complaining,
That's
but
what I
I'm
want
just
to know.
saying. So, yeah, I mean, how does that not make
I
it over
figure
there? Dead end barbecue. So,
I don't get it because it's good. That's good stuff, man. I'm surprised, especially in that community. That should make it easily.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's because
I
they're
got
all
one
set.
for you
I
guys.
think it's because they're all set with everything they already have out there. Like it's very
That
traditional
is true.
with what they have and where they go. If you introduce something a little bit different, it's like, no, no, we're Maryville. We're going to do our own thing the way we do things.
I got one for you guys. Obviously, there's different places that are associated with different stadiums. I think off the top of my head, Big Ed's Pizza with Oak Ridge.
Oh
You
yeah,
got Dead End. You got Dead End Barbecue with West. What are some
Litton's and
other
Central.
ones?
Litton's and
Yeah,
Central.
yes, Litton's at
Litton's
Central.
and
Very
Central.
good. Very
Biggest
good.
freaking hamburgers I've ever had in my life. Huge hamburgers,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm old enough to still remember when they had a Litton's in downtown West. Over
Yeah,
there next to
They
the
did.
they
They
did.
did, Shane, and then
Mhm.
they went out of business or whatever. Yeah, or they just couldn't sustain it. So, yeah, you're
I
right.
remember
So,
when there was also Grady's in
yeah.
downtown West when I
Yes.
moved here, and I love Grady's. Daryl's was on the
Grady's is
hill.
right there. Grady's is right there at the corner of Paper Mill.
Yep, where
Yep.
PF Chang is.
Yep, where
Yep.
PF Chang's is. Yep. Yep.
Yep,
So
So,
my
love
mom,
Grady's.
my mom worked at Harry's, which
oh, I remember Harry
I
T's.
remember, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Harry T's. Yeah, that
Harry
because they were
T's.
part of
so
the Regus. They were part of
Yep,
Regus.
part of the
So,
Regis
yep,
franchise. Yep,
yep.
Grady's, Harry's, obviously Regus, and there was
Regis.
one other one I can't remember was like there was like three of them. They all tied in together.
Yeah. I don't know if it still exists anymore in Farragut, but there were two locations and really a decent place for not only bar food, but you could play pool uh, between the buns. Between the
I remember
buns.
that.
There was one
I
in
remember
Farragut
that
and there was
place.
one in
Yeah,
Bearden. Yep. Yeah. And
Uh,
yeah, so that was right there in that shopping center by Farragut. So,
they've
yep.
redone that area. That area is just unbelievable now. What they've done across the street, the old Kroger and everything, the buildings
I
Mhm.
and
remember
stuff. It's unbelievable.
just before you got to Lovell Road, it was my favorite restaurant growing up. It was the Frontier House.
I remember the
I
Frontier
was a
House.
little
That
kid
was
when I
really good.
remember the
It
Frontier.
was
The,
across the
the,
street from Fuji. Yeah, it was right across from Fuji
yep,
there on
from
Kingston
That's
Way.
right. That's
the
right.
owner. The owner lived across the street from my grandfather over there in Lovell Heights.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
No, I
So
loved that
that
place.
was like high not high class, but that's my favorite place to go. Like my grandpa called me up like, "Hey, we're going to eat." I was like, "We're going to Frontier House." It's the
Yep.
only place I ever wanted to go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and they had the arcade there for the kids too. They had
Yep.
an arcade there for the kids, and I love that you remember that because I thought I was the only one that remembered the old Frontier House. And when I drive that section of Kingston Pike, I remember where it was sitting or what have you.
Yep.
I
Yep.
really do. So
I think there's a liquor store there now,
yeah, I
like
believe there
like
is.
Frontier
So
Package or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had the
But
little
you
gravel.
mentioned Litton's.
They had the gravel parking lot
Yeah,
back behind.
Litton's and Central, man. Every
yeah.
time I go
Litton's
from
and
the Central,
Central.
Louis, there's a
Yeah.
place
Well,
over
what
off
about
of.
Carnes? There's a place over by Carnes that you can get decent food for the game and so forth. There, trying to think of
I
what's the
forgot.
name of.
We ain't got shit out in Carnes.
You don't? Oh, maybe I'm
If there
thinking of
was,
Hardin Valley. Maybe I'm
if
thinking
there
of Hardin
was,
Valley. So.
if there was something in Carnes, it's gone now because all we've got is we got the Sonic, we got the Mexican restaurant, the pizza place,
The
we got Pizza
Bellaroma?
Hut.
Yeah,
Bellaroma.
Bellaroma.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
Pizza Hut used to be Gaddy's.
Yep.
Hardin
Yeah.
Valley's not a bad place to watch a game now either.
No, Hardin Valley is not
Hardin
a
Valley's
bad
not a
place
bad
to
place
watch
at
a
all
game.
to
So,
watch a
and
game.
they
They are
got Hard Knocks Pizza over there
Yep, they got
too.
Hard
So,
they are
Knocks.
so Hardin Valley is so picky about their track. Oh my god.
Yeah, they
yeah.
are.
You can't like they can have the little freaking mat rolled out and they will make the players take their cleats off.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Because
don't get that.
like
It's Hardin
they got
Valley.
they got their new track 7 years ago and
Hmm.
they're still acting like it
Yeah,
just got
Like it's like
they
brand
just
new
played.
or what have
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
like it's brand
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing too, if you ever went to a game at Austin East, the home cooked fried chicken there at the stadium, you know, it's like made
My
like
aunt used
right
to work
there.
in the concession
Whew.
stand. My aunt
Yeah.
worked in the concession stand with the chicken wings and the fried chicken.
Yep.
And every time I worked the game, I insisted I would go over to her concession stand and she had me a nice couple packets of a couple things of chicken wings, slice of bread right in. That's a good night right there. Take it up, watch the game. That's a
We
good
Hmm.
night.
had we had 3 games there this past season. I had a 6th grade game on Saturday. They had the grill going and the smoker going.
Mm-hmm.
We had our
Hmm.
end of the season game was there, and our first round playoff game was there. I was getting hungry on the sideline.
Oh yeah, you could
Oh, I
smell
Like
it.
bet.
I was sitting there like, do I have time between the JV and varsity game to go over here and grab me something?
Who could have blamed you for that? Who could have
There is
blamed you?
nowhere you could go in that stadium in an AE and not smell the food.
It's true.
Unbelievable.
That is true. That is
Unbelievable.
true.
You could be
I was upset with the refs there this last year because football rules. Chain crew does not. Home team provides the chain crew in our league,
uh-huh.
but they can't be on the home side. They're supposed to be on the visitor side.
Hmm.
The refs let them stay on the home side
Oh, wow.
Oh,
with their own chain crew.
that's
I
not
watched the chains get moved on crucial plays. Man, you want to talk about seeing a bunch of coaches about to get kicked out of a
yeah.
game? Like they about to kick our whole staff out.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Like we're watching, like we got stops on plays, but you see them move the chains beforehand or move it during the play. You're like, are you kidding me?
Hmm.
Yep.
It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
those refs just let it happen. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm still mad about it.
Great.
Yeah. No, I would be too. So shoot. Yeah.
And then Nayland on Saturday. My work schedule would be high school football on Friday, Nayland on Saturday. I had
Oh,
the best
yeah.
weekend.
My son wants to join in real quick. Hold on.
Okay, so about the Austin East thing, because the TV's a little delayed, but the chains, right?
Yeah.
The ref, I yelled at him, and he turned around and said, I
Yeah.
said, "No, I'm not leaving." I just stood there.
Shane, I remember that story about that Austin East game. I remember you telling me about that
Oh
off
my
camera.
gosh.
So yeah, that's right. I remember that now. But shoot. It's hard to believe that was a year ago coming up. I really is hard to believe. So my
Well,
goodness.
we played them in October.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
it was October.
Yeah. No, it'll be here before you know it. And then the season always goes by fast. Have you noticed that? Like you
Tell
look
me
at all
about
the
it.
matchups and before you know it, you're at week 7 and it's like, oh my God, I mean, now it's like playoff positioning time and so forth.
Yep.
What seed is going to be this and what's that and who's hosting it? You know, that's the other thing
Who's
too.
got to win this game to get to where and
Yep.
what's
Yeah.
the bracket going to look like? Yeah.
Well, and that's going to look very different this year because the quads have really been completely changed, and there's
Mhm.
going to be some travel that you're going to have some teams really bitching and moaning about it.
Yeah.
You really are. I mean,
Well, I
and
found out. I guess that was the other day that Carnes lost a bunch of coaches once Taylor took the Bearden job.
so did they go over with him to Bearden now, or what?
Yeah. That's what I heard.
Yep. Yep. Well,
Because I know Brad too. I've known him for a long. Him and my brother played together in the
Yeah,
'90s.
I coached his son, God, years
Years
ago,
ago.
back when he was in youth, and Brad was the head coach over at Bearden.
Mm-hmm.
Because both my oldest daughter and my son had his wife as a teacher at West Hills.
At West Hills Elementary. Yeah, Kinsey. I know.
Yep.
Yep. Told him that was my other school.
Yeah, I
you know
walked
what
in
that
one day,
shows?
like, "Hey, coach."
Hey, you know what that shows right there, honestly? That if you have the connections, you can get a staff together pretty
Oh, yeah,
quickly,
easily.
especially if you're comfortable with the guys, you know what they can bring to the table. And it really is about that culture, guys. It really is, and so forth. And if the kids don't buy in, it's tough, man. It's a very tough
What
thing.
shocks me with Bearden is they have such a low turnout after Jones being dismissed. They barely have a
Mhm.
team put together from what I've heard. But you
Yeah.
got Coach
Well,
Taylor, who's proven himself everywhere he's been at.
Yeah, he's proven himself as everywhere he's
He's never been a bad coach. He's put
yeah.
his kids in the college. He took
Mhm.
Carnes from being the Knox County punching bag to, he had Deshaun Bishop, and they had 2 of their winning seasons ever with him.
Yeah, got to the
Mhm.
quarterfinals.
And they were competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't the doormat anymore.
Yeah, they got to the
weren't.
state
Mm-mm.
quarterfinals a
Yeah.
couple of times with Deshaun Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brad had Devin Young.
Yep. I was there.
Bearden.
I was there for those days.
hmm I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be very, very intrigued, by the way, of, now that we're coming from the dead period, I'm just going to say this out loud. I'm going to be very intrigued of what kind of a staff Wes can put together at this point. So late in
Yeah.
so late in the game. I mean, you've got Baron Chandler coming back, but I don't know of who of that staff is going to stick around, because a lot of them were already done before they even made the decision with Lamar. So, I mean, and the thing is KCS is going to be very, very critical of the recommendations before
If
they
not
even,
hands-on.
give the go ahead.
If not hands-on.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm
So it's
really
not
curious
like,
how-
one or two coaches. Yeah.
I still, that whole situation, if you're going to relieve one coach of one part of the program that he fell under, why you're not relieving both coaches of both programs that he was coaching under?
Oh
Agreed.
yeah. No, and it's going to be very interesting because it has been the dead period. Let's see what next week holds.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some stuff that's going to come out. I don't know anything. I swear to God, I don't. I just am more. It's like, okay, it's the dead period. This is the time when everybody went on vacation. Okay, now you're back. And like you guys said, school starts in a month. So who's
Mhm.
going to be where in
Yep.
what roles in the different capacities, if you get my
Mhm.
drift. That's all I'm
Oh, yeah.
that's all I'm saying. So
And more is
yes.
going to come, and unfortunately, more is going to come out about this. Everything that happened, more is going to come out.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah, I mean, because you've got these arraignments about to come
exactly.
up.
Is West
everything
still trying to
public.
put together? Is West still trying to put together more of a staff? Because didn't they lose more coaches?
I don't know. I really am. I'm at a loss. I'm at a
Yeah.
loss at this point because
Was it they
because
only
you
had
were
5
really
coaches?
down to like 5 guys before the Lamar decision was even made, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 5 or 6 guys
Yeah,
still on
something you
staff.
told me about 6 guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now now that the decision was done that Lamar's not coming back, who of those 6, I mean, you've got Baron Chandler as the head coach,
Yep.
but who of those other 5 are going to stick around and, to fill the other 4 spots at this point, because you did have 9 or 10 guys on staff at this
That's
point.
right.
So, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be very curious of what comes out about that. But I think we'll know something, probably this time next week, to be honest with you, by Wednesday and so forth. So, of what's going on.
Especially since there's not a whole lot to report on right now.
Nope.
Media is going to be out in full force.
Oh, yeah. No, if it bleeds, it reads. Just remember that, guys.
Exactly.
If it bleeds, it reads.
High school media day.
What now?
When is high school media day?
That's a good question. I think it's in next couple of weeks.
I know that it's coming because, truth be told, don't they have that golf tournament? And that's where Jesse
Yeah,
Smithy does all his interviews and all his,
all
like,
of our preps.
80
Yep.
schools in 80 days or whatever, or 50 schools in 50 days, whatever it
Mhm.
is. So, yeah, so for sure. So, yeah.
And VLT usually does
Russo
their
and that
preview.
bunch, they do.
Does their
Yeah.
preview. Is there a
And
social
I
media?
wonder what Russell's going to do because, if Russell's going to be coming back for a second year with his group, and so forth of covering the games on Friday night, because I felt they had a very successful year last year.
Oh,
I
I thought
thought
so
so.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because he didn't have to be locked in on a game like Packard did. He could actually kind of pick and choose if
Pick
a
and
big game
choose.
was coming up. And then if the two coaches agreed, VLT was showing up there on that Friday
Yep.
night and so forth, if the coaches agreed. So, yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see how
I mean,
that
Packard this
happens.
year again. They got Thursday night and Friday night games, and
That's right, with
and
the
the Saturday
playoffs.
night game with
Yep, that's
Bearden and
right.
West and Bearden and West.
Yep, that's right.
That's their
No,
first.
And then,
I think that's their
that
first.
Beard Alcoa game would have been special,
yeah,
and everything not
Oh
happening
yeah,
over
at the
there.
Smoky
Well,
Stadium, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, with everything going on over there, like that game would have been amazing. Now it's just going to be
What's the
Alcoa's going
score?
to first off.
yeah.
Yeah,
Name your
like,
score at that
name the
point.
score. Yeah,
It's going to be running clock
yeah.
Yep.
after halftime.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big stories too, if you're talking about high school football, also is let's just throw it out there. Alcoa moving up to 4A. I think that everybody's excited for that Alcoa Anderson County game. When that
That's
happens
gonna
and
be a
so forth.
rocket buster.
So.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be a
that
rocket.
has to be on TV. I mean, you could see that being the like a Russell Bivin game on a Friday
Yeah,
night.
it'll be
So
on somebody's TV
it
screen
will be. Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. And now Alcoa doesn't have to travel very far for games. I
Yeah.
mean, they have a full slate of games in the area other than the Maryville and West game that
One of
that
the
they've had the
reasons they
last couple
wanted to
of years
move up to
scheduled.
4A was that very reason. They wanted more games locally instead of traveling as much as they did. I think Alcoa coming to 4A, one of the best things that could happen for 4A for everybody in 4A, because they're going to make
I
everybody
believe
better.
that.
They're going to make
Yep.
everybody get their game up and get them ready because they're going to make them better easily.
I agree with that. I agree
I think
with that.
Fair get it.
So,
I think
They've
Fair
already
get.
proven that they can play against 4A, 5A, and
Mhm.
6A.
Yep.
yeah.
I
I'll tell
think-
you one thing. Gatlinburg Pittman's happy as hell. Now they can get
Oh,
further
yeah.
than the second or third round. So, I mean,
Yep.
the Highlanders.
Fulton's still 4A?
Yeah.
They are. They are. Yeah. Yeah. They're 4A. South Doyle is 4A. Gibbs is 4A. If I'm not mistaken, is Carter 4A?
I think so.
Carter's
So.
4A. Yeah. Powell's 5A. Halls is 5A. Central's 5A. West is 5A. Carnes is 5A. Heritage is now 4A.
It's 4A. Heritage is now
Heritage is now 4A, and William Blunt is now 5A. So,
William Blunt went down.
really.
yeah, William Blunt. Yeah. William Blunt is actually in the region with Carnes, West, Central, Powell, Knox, Halls, and Campbell County. So
Interesting. That's very
yeah.
interesting.
So that's the other thing too. Campbell County's probably the furthest game that West will travel to this year. Honestly.
Oh,
Campbell
yeah.
County would have a great team if it wasn't for Anderson County.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
You're
Yeah.
right about that.
Absolutely. So yeah, and like you said, Kerry, SEC Media Days next week is going to be huge, and see what these teams bring to the table, more than anything, and obviously, you've got Lee Corso, last game day going to be at where it started in Columbus, Ohio, that
Against
Memorial Day
Texas.
weekend
It
against Texas.
still should have been Florida State. I'll die
I
on that.
agree with that. I agree with that.
I can understand that too, but I think where it all started for him was Ohio State with his
The first headgear he put on, yeah.
and it's
So,
Texas. That's a big. That's their home opener. Defending national champions home opener is Texas. Yeah,
Hershey's gonna be crying like a baby.
that's gonna be it. That I don't know what that's gonna. That could be a slaughter. That could be an overtime. That could be all possibilities.
You don't know what
Well,
that game's gonna be.
Yeah.
It could be Arch Manning's coming out game for all we know.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you this: the one kid that, and I hate that he's there, is, and if he gets the starting job, I know there's like 8 guys competing for it, but Julian Sayers, there's something about that cat that he's just got that punchable face, Tom Brady type of thing. Knows he's good looking. Was going to be at Alabama if it wasn't for Saban retiring, and Ohio State gets. And I'm like, of course they got him. Of course he went to Ohio State.
I think we can all hate. I think we can all hate Tom Brady just a little bit more now because supposedly he's tapping Sydney Sweeney now.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Guys,
That's what I'm hearing.
he sought her out at the Bezos wedding or whatever like that, man. So, mira eso. Oh my gosh. So,
Hey,
wow.
my quarterback Josh Allen got married Haley Steinfeld. She's fine, and she's
She
fine
is
too.
fine. No, she is. She is.
They
So,
got
yeah.
married. She's in a. I got a chance to watch the movie Sinners. She's fantastic in it, man.
Oh, isn't
That's
she
a great
in
movie.
that? So that is a great movie. Sinners, if you
Sinners is
haven't seen it.
fantastic.
Oh, yeah, no, I
so
saw it in the
good.
theater. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
a great
good.
movie. It's one of my
It's really
favorite
good.
movies I've seen in a long time. I mean,
Exactly. I
yeah.
haven't seen a good movie like that in a long
It's
while.
on
So,
HBO
yeah,
Max, I think.
Max.
Yeah, Max. Yeah. And now they're going back to the HBO Max because they failed with just the Max or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I
failed with
mean?
that
Type of a
miserably.
thing. So yeah, for sure. So
But yeah, SEC media.
By the way, yeah, real quick about SEC Media Days. I'm still wanting to see, who Alabama brings as their big time guys, to the fold and everything.
Yeah, this will
like
be
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
You want to talk about an interesting team in transition? That is going to be an interesting team with no Mil. Who's their quarterback? Ty Simpson.
Yeah, it ain't no Julian Sayers. I'll tell you that much. So yeah,
they're another 9-3 year away from people going down there and asking DeBoer, where's this magic you're supposed to be? You're supposed to have only lost 10 games in your coaching career, and you've already lost to Oklahoma. You've already lost to two 6-6 teams last year.
It's true. It's true.
You can't lose this year when you got the majority of your big games at home. Because Tennessee can come in there and beat you. Auburn could come in there and beat you.
Yep.
Auburn's going to be better. What's that?
You lost to Vandy.
Yeah. Who made a video. Their season video was the Alabama game and the bowl game they won. That was it. Their year-end video.
The Tennessee Vanderbilt game was the battle of who's Alabama's daddy this year.
Yeah. And don't worry, when Diego Palmer opened his mouth and said, we're going to run the state by next year, I said, yeah.
Oh, that was hysterical. Like,
y'all got to come to Neyland. Good luck. You thought we hurt you bad?
Even when we go there, it's just Neyland West.
Hey, they need to realize they don't even run the city of Nashville. Do you know that Texas fans, Alabama fans, and Tennessee fans bought the season ticket holders for Vanderbilt just so they could get tickets for the Vanderbilt game? That's the only game they went to. And they sold the rest of them.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, no, it was interesting. I mean, it was just like
the jumbotron is being hung up by freaking 2 cranes, some wire.
Yeah. No, and I think that project is finally going to be done this year, where they did that expansion of their stadium.
That's what their plan is supposed to have been this year.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah. So the SEC Media Days are next week, which also means that Big Ten and ACC should follow the following week.
They usually start a couple of days after the SEC. SEC goes 4. Well, Big Ten now goes 4 days because they've got 16. They got 16 teams, so they go 4 days. Big 12 goes like 2 days because they only have 12. But yeah, SEC is the one everybody covers because there's more media at the SEC, and this year it's in Atlanta. It's at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta this year.
Because where did they used to go? Birmingham. They used to be in Birmingham, right?
Hoover, which is next door to which is next door to Birmingham.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I got one for you guys. I got one for you guys to laugh about with football, since we're on the topic or what have you. The Paul Feinbaum show.
I love Feinbaum.
I mean, here's my thing. What the hell do they talk about? Is it just Alabama fans calling in? Paul, love your show, and just want to just talk about. I don't know what that DeBorg is doing down there. I mean, we just need to. I mean, and I'm like, oh my God! Like, what do they talk about when it's not football season? I know it ain't basketball, or baseball.
They actually, believe it or not, they cover basketball when it's basketball season.
Do they? Okay.
That, all the teams call in. They get Ohio State fans, they get Alabama fans, they get Tennessee fans, they get South Carolina fans. They get all kinds of fans in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's actually quite funny because some of them will have some dumb comments and some of the others will have really good comments. Then they get made fun of by the dumb people, say that they're dumb comments. So it's actually
and it's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that, Kerry, because here's the sad part. That show airs on ESPN Radio. The fact that they don't have a decent call-in show in the afternoon on the College 84, like, that's bullshit. That is just horrible. I mean, goodness gracious. So they I mean, that it should be for everybody.
We could get on Channel 84 and do this. That would be fun.
And have a great call-in show. Honestly, we'd have a great time. So yeah, for sure. I do want to wrap it up with the wrestling talk that we always like to do and so forth. But next week is all football. By the way, everything's all football. By the way, real quick. I want to do a segment real quick of things that I see that right now just proves they stink. And I kind of already mentioned it before, but I'm just going to say it right now. The Miami Dolphins moves this offseason and the fire sale that is impending, they stink. They are awful, just atrocious. And they're horrible. They're absolutely awful. They stink. I'm telling you. So, Kerry, Shane, whoever wants to go first, right now, what do you think stinks in sports? So, yeah.
Oh, my.
Kerry, you go first.
Okay. Speaking of talking about football, there's another team that stinks. It's called the New Orleans Saints. I want to know what they're doing. They've got Kellen Moore. I want to ask what Kellen Moore has walked into. You got a 26-year-old quarterback that apparently can't hit the broadside of a barn. If you gave him the barn, the doors, and everything else, them in Miami may be competing for the worst team in football this year.
Yeah, the only thing is I think the Saints actually have the number one pick to draft somebody. The Dolphins traded that to somebody
funny would that be?
Oh,
54 years ago, Archie Manning was the number 2 overall pick to New Orleans. 54 years later, his grandson would be the number 1 overall pick.
And he's eligible, right? He can go after this year. He's eligible.
He's eligible.
Okay. So it's possible. It is. So yeah. They probably are tanking for Arch. You never know.
Every draft board has him number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's really nobody else at the moment that has really that's why I'm saying when I brought it up a couple weeks ago with you guys and Larry was on the show, who really is the front runner for the Heisman other than him? I mean, who the kid from Ohio State, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
Could he have a Devonta year this year? I mean,
it would be between those two.
Probably be between those two.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even think of a badass running back that's coming back this year.
Unless a dark horse comes out of nowhere. And this would be the year for a dark horse. There's only 2 viable candidates. A dark horse could come out of if somebody has a better year than what they're expecting, you never know.
Wouldn't that be something that another Manning got screwed out of the Heisman because of some dark horse? I mean, that's a story right there.
Did y'all see where Charles Woodson Jr. is being recruited by Tennessee?
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's cool.
That's cool. Very cool.
But that's just so.
It's full circle.
So,
yeah, for sure.
But say he did commit here, would we push for him to get the Heisman?
Absolutely. It would be owed to us. We're still waiting for that.
What would be funny is if he commits here, plays out his career, and beats out a Michigan quarterback
for the Heisman.
Ooh, that would be pretty interesting. Well, and you know what? That would be funny because that kid that just is at Michigan is good. It's supposed to be all world. They paid enough money for him, $5 million or something to get him to go there instead of LSU to Michigan. That quarterback, and they're going to roll with him. So
hey, I'll tell you what doesn't stink. Our recruiting has been fantastic for 26.
They really
got 7 guys in 5 days.
We got some studs coming in, man. In 26.
I want Tyreek Key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's still out there, and he is leaning. From what everybody's saying, he's leaning towards our way. If we land that kid, whoo!
Because him and is it Faison?
Yep.
Huge. They're real close.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. LSU right now, I don't know how much NIL money they're spending, but they
got
are
all that
just
oil money
collecting some dudes. They're about to get the number 1 and number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
Tristan Keys is already with them, and now they're about to sign this kid who's a 6'5" monster out of Miami Northwestern coming. So
Keys is the one that's is Tennessee's trying to flip.
Yeah, Tennessee's trying to flip him. So
There's your third
LSU's
dark horse.
trying to hold him. Yeah.
Nussmeier, the quarterback at LSU. There's your third dark horse. There's your third.
He's good.
You can have all the money in the world.
Yep.
But you got
Brian Kelly as your coach.
Brian Kelly. That's what I don't understand. Like, why would these guys go to that buffoon? Why would they go to him? He's a buffoon, that guy. So
it's where Butch Jones learned everything.
Yeah.
He's where Butch Jones learned everything.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he had come to
blame
Tennessee instead of Butch Jones? Could you imagine? Because it was between those two guys. It really was. Because then Brian Kelly took the Notre Dame job or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Shane, what's your they stink in sports right now?
Ooh. I was going to say it was my Titans.
I'll be right back.
But they made a good draft pick. But they still have. Adams needs to just go ahead. Be the owner, but stop meddling as much. Because we have burned draft picks and free agency for years.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, like, what are they doing? You got this new stadium being built. Are you even going to be able to fill it? Because you've sucked for a while. The last GM they had, he was garbage.
Yeah, that running back from Florida, Rand Carthon. He ran everybody off, so there you go. Yeah. So, yeah.
There's a reason why the 49ers were ready to get rid of him.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't fight to keep him.
Well, I will say this. I am excited. October 19th, I will be attending the Titans-Patriots game, so hopefully I'll see Cam Ward doing this to the Patriots. I'm hoping I'll get to see that. So, but, yeah.
Yeah, I want the Patriots to go down for that one a couple years ago where they just – it's been a while now. It's back there in the Mariota days where it's like –
oh, gosh.
I lost 59-0.
Yeah. I remember that. He's the backup to somebody, right? Is he still in Washington as the backup to Jaden Daniels?
I think so. He was in Atlanta for a little bit.
Okay.
And then I think he's with the Commanders now.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's where I thought. So he's still in the league technically. So yeah. So, well, the last thing I wanted to bring up was if anybody wasn't watching on Friday night, CM Punk came out making fun of John Cena with the Thugonomics gimmick. It was hilarious, and he needed to do that because, like I said, he got absolutely pummeled the week before, and for him to come out and do that with Cena, that was hilarious. It really was awesome. And then realistically, their match was the only thing worth talking about for Night of Champions. And, I know that Kerry will talk about it when he gets back on here, but I couldn't have thought of a worse pay-per-view, Shane, honestly. It was supposed to be Night of Champions. The controversy was, are they even going to have this pay-per-view with everything going on overseas without talking politics and all that stuff? But we didn't even know if they were going to even have the event. They have the damn event, and it's called Night of Champions, and only 2 belts were defended that night.
What happened to where every belt was on the line?
It might as well have been called Crown Jewel. It shouldn't have even been called Night of Champions.
I fell asleep watching it within the first 2 matches.
It was atrocious.
Middle of the day. It came on at what, 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
even worse.
I was asleep by the second match, and I woke up midway through Cena and Punk's match.
Yeah, I took a
Usually,
nap too, and I
So I
woke
rewound
up.
it back just to catch the beginning of it and watch.
The Friday night SmackDown was better than the Night of Champions.
how Carrie, say it again, because that's
The
exactly what
Friday
it
night
was.
SmackDown was better than Night of Champions.
Yeah. And just think about this. Just think about this. What if this was the old days and you had paid $65 to watch that shit?
Yep. I'd have been crying for a refund.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing too. Are they doing this because it really is just a Peacock subscription that's maybe $5? This is what you're getting $5 for. I mean,
Yep.
realistically,
Mhm.
you're not showcasing the best talent. You're not giving a card of 11 matches. And didn't they have a UFC fight that night as well? So
Yep.
again,
Yes, they did.
here's your minor league B show by TKO. But the main thing was Olvera getting his ass knocked out in the
Yep.
first round, and that
Knocked
didn't even last.
out.
Oh, yeah.
How many
Got
times did they
pulled.
plug the UFC fight during it?
Oh, tons. They
Yeah, they plugged
Yep,
it.
bless
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Friday Night SmackDown was better. The last woman standing match, better than most of the matches on that card because they went to Tiffany and Nia went to war, and
Yeah,
that
they
was
did.
fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the promo, I think that when Cena did his pipe bomb, that was great. But when CM Punk came out there with Punk Life, that's one of the great all-time promos.
Oh,
ever.
it was, and he had to do it after getting just destroyed the week before. He had to do it. So
The only thing that would have made it better is that if it was done in America. Because the Saudi, that crowd there was good, but if it had been in America when he had done it, oh my God, they would have.
How about this one? Could you imagine in Chicago if he had done that?
Or Boston,
Or Boston. Boston would have been huge, like, because that would have been a kick in the nuts to Cena. Or
Yep.
Madison Square Garden, New
Madison
York.
Square
Like New
Garden.
York would have been hilarious because
Oh,
they hate
yes.
Boston and Cena. So yeah.
That was absolutely amazing.
So here were two matches that I was surprised about on the card, even though it was a snooze fest.
Mhm.
I was happy that Jade got the Queen of the Ring. I was happy about that. Okay. But what I was surprised about was, and I shouldn't have been, but Solo taking the title off of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, that was a shocker, but now I'm starting to see the bloodline they're getting ready to resurrect this bloodline thing because it looks like Jey Uso is gonna come over from Raw to SmackDown and get this thing set off in motion.
Yeah.
And where does Roman Reigns play in this? Or will he play in this? We don't know if he does.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, if this was a clickbait, because, there's so much shit on the phones and everything like that. But are they really making a remake of the Street Fighter movie? Because I heard that they want Roman Reigns in Street Fighter or what have you like that. So I don't know how true that is or not. So, but
I haven't heard anything, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but I just didn't know if that was true or not, that he was going to be filming a movie and maybe that's what's going on. But again, it's clickbait. You just never know with the AI stuff and people create this stuff.
I saw another one that they've got Cody in it also.
Yeah. Well, and Cody, I mean, it's predictable. He's probably going to beat Cena at SummerSlam now.
And the heel turn is coming slowly but surely. That interview after he won. You can just start to see it. You can just listen to his tone. It's starting to change. The heel turn is coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where is SummerSlam this year?
The Meadowlands. The Meadowlands.
Cody turns heel. Cena goes back to a face.
Yep.
To finish out the career.
So it's over 2 nights. They're doing 2 nights. Yep. Okay. So there could be a possibility that Rock somehow flies in there and shows up or whatever.
That's what I expect to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, at least this Evolution card that's coming is going to be good. This Evolution card with all women is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's already some banger matches on there that I'm excited about. Io against Rhea. I'm excited about that one because I think that's going to be a slam match.
I can't stand Io's promos.
She needs more work.
God, they're horrible.
She needs more work.
You put the belt on her. Like, it's just like you can tell she's still just excited be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
her
she
and
called
Rhea-
out her own challenger.
Shane, do you remember this from the SmackDown that we went to a few weeks ago? Carrie, I meant to ask you, and maybe you already answered. Did you end up going, or did you not make it to
No, I didn't. I
SmackDown?
watched it. I watched it.
Okay, all right. So you didn't get to see this on TV, since you were watching on TV because you weren't there
Mhm.
live. But I think Shane, unless you went to the bathroom, maybe you missed it. So as filler, and I was and I was so embarrassed by it. I was like, oh my God, this is a real thing. So you know how sometimes a basketball game will have a kiss cam and and
Yeah.
all that and so forth.
Yeah.
They had an AO Sky Cam where people had to go like this when the camera was on them, like that, and I'm like,
I remember that.
and I was
remember
like,
that.
I was embarrassed, and I'm like,
Oh
I don't
my
even
God.
want to, like, please may the camera not get on me. Like, I really was like that, and I was just
really
like,
glad I was up in the nosebleeds.
yeah. I mean, I was embarrassed, and the people were doing it, like, and I'm like, how the hell is that a thing? That the AO Sky Cam
Was
or
it that
whatever?
bad?
I don't know. It was horrible.
Was it that
really
bad?
was. It was
Yeah.
bad. I mean,
Is
yeah,
there one of the long commercial breaks?
it really was, and it was painful. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather have had the kiss cam, if I can just say that, rather than the damn AO Sky Cam. But yeah, that was just terrible.
Well,
I
in
mean,
2
but
weeks,
you
they're going
saying
back
that
to
brought
2
that
hours.
up. So, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Well,
and that was the other thing too.
in 2 weeks, they're going back to 2 hours.
Are they really?
Which I think's the right
Okay.
decision.
They need to, because I just couldn't believe it was 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah,
I mean,
could
I
have been
I've
was,
been
three
to
I,
Raw.
was, I was thinking it's only gonna be 2, and then I'm like, oh God, like we're still going.
Yeah.
I got work
Yeah.
in the morning. Shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, their roster is not deep enough to do 3 hours. The Raw roster was deep enough for 3 hours, not the SmackDown. So, I mean,
Let me ask you this, James. Did they do any dark matches while you guys were there that night?
They did at the beginning that were taped
Yeah.
for Velocity. Like they were taped for they
Speed.
were like those 1 minute Speed. That's what it was. Thank
On
you. I couldn't
X?
think of it.
Yeah.
On X. Yeah. So that's what it was. So yeah. So they had
Okay.
2 dark matches. We were wondering if they were going to do a dark match afterwards, but they did not do a dark match afterwards.
Yeah, because
So I was
sometimes
shocked.
some cities gets one afterwards, which is
Oh, yeah.
I figured Knoxville would get one.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe they would do Cena against Cody just behind the scenes, just to have them practice. If they were going to be wrestling against each other, they didn't. I mean,
maybe Belanca was part of the plan for like an after match, but she's hurt, so she couldn't do
Yeah.
anything. That would have
I
been a
bet you
great moment.
that would have been cool. Her and Naomi throw down,
They
or
needed
Jade,
they
or
needed
something.
more. They needed more freaking merchandise tables. Holy shit!
Yeah, that was ridiculous. No,
See,
they
that
had
can
2,
say-
They had 2 on each end of the stadium.
That's not
and
enough.
the line was wrapped around. Carrie, the
And
line was wrapped around.
The lines were literally like lapping each other.
Yes. Yeah.
I
You can
remember
get like
back in
that,
the day,
go-
they used to have 4 or 5 in every quarter because for that reason.
Oh,
To
yeah.
keep
Well,
my lines
then
from
the,
wrapping
people,
around
then
the
the
middle.
people running the freaking lines were like, they were only sending one person. Like, you couldn't even stand there outside the line
Oh
and
gosh.
see what they had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, me and Keegan got yelled at multiple times. I'm like, I'm trying to see like how much everything costs, what I've got,
Yeah.
what he might want, if they even have his size. And she's like, get in line. I'm like, I'm trying to fucking look. Goddamn, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, they had so many different options. I didn't know what I wanted to get. They had a special Cena shirt for Knoxville that was orange,
Yep.
that was like vol color. They
Yep.
they had a new
Checkerboard.
Roman Reigns shirt. They had, I mean, like there was like other stuff that CM Punk. I mean, they had stuff there or whatever, and it was like, yeah, you couldn't even look. The concession stand was also terrible. I mean, like, I don't know who's running Thompson Bowling Arena now, Food City, or whatever the hell it's called, but
Yeah.
they are doing it terrible when it comes to concerts and sporting events now.
See.
It really is pathetic. I mean, yeah, it really is.
There's not many of the old timers back in the day when I was working over there. When I was doing, I mean, they ran concessions and everything. It was top notch. Everything was top notch. Now it's
Yeah,
you're not the first person to say that, and you're not going to be.
yeah.
the last.
Civic Coliseum with even those dark shows, like
Are
the
better.
little house shows that they have
Yeah.
are better. They have more. I mean,
Mhm.
they know how to freaking do it, and that's the Civic Coliseum. The Thompson
So do
Bowling
the
Arena is
people at
supposed to be
Nayland.
your
So do the people at Nayland. They know how to do it.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And now we wonder why certain acts for concerts don't waste their damn time coming here, even with the fact
Exactly.
that you sell beer. You didn't have beer sales before. Now you do. But it's just
Yep.
incredible. I mean, yeah. That's why they go to Nashville. That's why they go to Atlanta.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they don't freaking come to Knoxville. So,
Yep.
yeah. But anyway, but that's all I got, guys. I mean, anything else you guys want to bring up before we close it out? Great show as always. And next
Oh
week,
yeah.
man, it's all football, baby. It's all
Yep.
football. So, yep, for sure. So, yeah. But
You're going to see me,
Shane,
hot
Gary,
and
last
tired
thoughts?
every week.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on tonight. Great
Oh, you're welcome anytime,
program.
brother.
We're
Absolutely.
gonna talk football. Get Tate Man in the house next week.
Yeah,
some
get
football
Larry.
going.
Larry
Get
wanted
Larry
to be
back.
on, but he was busy. He had to work and has an early morning,
did he?
so he wished us the best on the phone. But he'll probably try to be back. And I was trying to get Corey Davison, former West Rebel football player turned actor, to join us. Huge wrestling fan, loves sports as much as us.
Okay.
Graduated in 2003 with Shane and two pair and so forth. So we're going to have him on as well and so forth. And I hope to have Michael Lynn come on with football, Terry Maples, Troy Smith, TJ Blakely, the mayor of Maynardville. I'd like to have all our former guests come on in some capacity as part of the panel. Like I said, I'd love to have like maybe 8 of us on here at one point and so forth. So it'd be amazing.
awesome.
So yeah, for sure. But Shane, last thoughts, Carrie, last thoughts before we sign off. So yeah.
Great show tonight. This time next week, I'll be somewhat excited because it'll be first day in shells for us. So, sorry, my kid just opened the door, so you're hearing a beeping. That's my bad. Great show. I'm just ready for football to be here. My son wants to close out my final statement, I guess.
I didn't.
There you go.
Rebels of the cause.
There
I
you
love
go.
it. Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about. It's all about that W. I like that. So that's it. So yeah.
I saw it on the packet, so I had to do it.
Absolutely.
Shane, don't wear yourself out by next week. I know how excited you are. Don't wear yourself out, man.
Absolutely.
Lots of Gatorade,
Yep.
electrolyte packets, and water.
Yes, hydrate yourself big time, man.
There you go.
I've definitely gotten about 5 shades darker in the last 2 weeks.
They don't call these the dog days of summer for no reason, man.
Yeah, no, I've been working on my tan, so there we go. So simple.
My
as
tan's
that.
natural, so I don't have to.
You're
worry
lucky.
about it.
You're lucky. So.
I'm just trying to connect all my freckles at this point.
There you go. There you go.
Carrie, final thoughts, brother, before we sign it off. So
great show tonight. Covered a lot of topics, which I love, but I can't wait to just get knee deep into football. I may have some bold predictions in the future from college and the NFL to throw out at everybody. Just throw some bold predictions, see if they come true or not. It's something for fun.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll have that segment. No, we'll do that segment for sure.
I like stuff like that because then I like seeing how the season goes and then coming back to look at those and see how close or how far off everybody.
How far off? Yeah, we should do that. I think it'd be a lot of fun, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Well, the final thoughts that I'm going to have is, guys, is the 4th of July is on Friday, and whether you have to work or not, just remember that there were a lot of brave men and women that died for this freedom. And, you know, this is a special celebration, 249 years as a country. And next year, 250 is going to be ginormous on a Saturday. I think they did that on purpose. I don't know how that worked out. But no matter where you do, thank somebody for their service, whether they're still with us or not. But more than anything, enjoy the family time, enjoy the fireworks, be safe, love one another. And as I've said before, fireworks, family, and football ahead. It's Rebels with a Cause. That cause don't stop when the clock hits 0. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, share, and join us next Wednesday night at 9:30. It's always about that W, baby.
That's right,
Go
baby.
Rebels, go football, and enjoy